Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and the Giants and we kick off a new lineup this week, which is recent TV shows, one of them being Andor Season 2. The show where all of us were like, I don't know about this, man. Turns out to be one of the best Star Wars properties in a while, and that is not saying much, considering Disney Star Wars.
Hey, no. Don't say that. But yeah, I do agree. Actually, it's not one of the. I think it is
The best.
In my opinion, it is. Yes, I love the Mandalorian. I love everything about it. But writing wise, consistency wise, and like full on characters, like the entire show is just character driven.
Yeah.
I'm just like the amount of detail, the amount of attention that they put into every little aspect of the show was just chef's kiss.
Yes.
So there like we would be with like the Mandalorian. We were like, yes, episodes 1 to 5 is great, but 6 to 7 is like okay, and like or filler episodes. And then by the last 2 episodes, we're like, yeah, it's a great show. Here, my God, Rotten Tomato was like, yeah, you know what, 90% for all of the fucking episodes.
Yeah. Even though for Season 2, the first 3 episodes are kind of slow with Andor in the middle of the rebellion. I like these two factions arguing over who's the leader, and you're like, I guess, yeah, this is how some rebellions are. Not everybody's on the same side, but it picks up after that. And like it gives the Empire its bite back. I like every time I see a stormtrooper roll up with his squad, I'm kind of like, shit. I hope the main character's okay. Unlike in like, say, other Star Wars properties like A New Hope, where you see a stormtrooper, you're like, he's as harmless as a fly. He has the vision of a rhino, apparently.
Yeah, I still stand by that point of like, clone troopers are way better than stormtroopers, but I do agree. Is that they don't show a stormtrooper all that much unless it's like maybe a last resort or like they really need help.
Yeah.
Which made them very intimidating.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get like a guy with like stormtrooper armor but no helmet. I still don't count him as a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
But once you see the ones with like the full blown helmets and everything, I was like, shit.
Yeah. Like it truly stamps in the point that the stormtroopers are the elite of the Empire and they all look the same, because an empire like the Star Wars Empire, that's a despotic regime. It wants everything to be in unison. It has to be. It has to be in order.
Yeah.
Like there's no room for chaos, and if you don't like that, we'll crush you with the stormtroopers. Just to prove how lethal they are, like when they took out Andor's friend in episode 3, I think it was, when the guy was aiming down the sights, I was like, there's no way he has a clear shot. There's no, and then you see him take him out. I was like, what?
You see that guy? He's just like, like he just takes aim. I was like, sit your ass down. Oh, he got him. I was like, oh god, good on you, I guess. But like, sadly, they get taken out.
Yeah.
This prototype prototype what do you call it again? TIE fighter.
Yeah.
Poor bastards just disappear as soon as they get shot. I was like, oh
yeah. And
that's dark.
Yeah, well, speaking of dark, it sets the tone pretty quickly. Episodes 1, 2, 3, special 3 with Bix almost being assaulted by the officer. I was like, damn, Star Wars.
Almost. She was. I was like, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like they're fully committing, and then she straight up says it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if you could say it on YouTube.
And
I was just like, whoa. Good on Star Wars for like having the balls to show that side.
Yeah, because we all know that this Empire rules with impunity and does whatever it likes, and showing that side of the Empire, like you think back to all the other dark stuff of Star Wars, and you're like, if it was written by the same team, it could have gone that direction as well. But I am just impressed with how, you're right. It consistently great the show is. Like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and like till 12, all the episodes are just on fire. Like the center of attention is Gorman, the French planet of Star Wars that has this mineral that Krennic wants. and needs and wants to get it whatever means necessary, and he uses Dedra to plant the seeds that will ultimately be the ignition for this rebellion, which the Empire doesn't know about. But
Yeah.
I'm glad they brought Krennic back because he needs his Death Star to be on time because the Empire and Vader can't wait any longer, and he has this super secret meeting, and you're just wondering as like how well will this connect to Rogue One, and it does.
Yeah.
Connect well.
By the way, sorry if we skimmed over. They also like tackled like arranged marriages,
Yeah.
and like you see how like Mon Mothma is a fucking like every time it like goes to her, I'm kind of like, all right, let's go political drama. Let's like I'm ready for conversations, talking, and espionage. And I'm like, yes, I need more of that.
Yeah.
But then we get this sick scene of like her daughter being married off, and then I don't know if it was like Max Rebo who scored this shit, but the beat was fire.
Yeah, and Genevieve O'Reilly's acting as Mon Mothma when she's dancing and not having a good time. You're like, God damn, you're a great actress. I wish you were in more Star Wars stuff, or in movies in general.
She's losing control.
Yeah,
I love that scene. Is that like her just flailing around and just dancing? It's her expressing that, well, fuck it. I've lost all control because her own friend that like sends money to the rebellion was like, hey, wife left me and I'm kind of broke. I can't give you any more money for your rebellion.
Yeah.
And and her daughter being married off, of course.
Yeah. And Newton is like, this guy's too dangerous to be kept alive for the rebellion, so he has to take him out. Like I like the groundedness that all of the people who get taken out in this show. It's not like maybe in other hands or other properties, these rebellion figures like Cynthia or even Luton get taken out in a blaze of glory, but they get taken out in such anticlimactic ways. Like Cynthia is shot accidentally by the Gorman front, and Luton dies after trying to unalive himself, but Dedra needs him alive, so Clay has to take him off life support. Like any other show, you think like Luton would go down in a blaze of glory, but here he dies so anticlimactically, and you're just like, well, that's just life. Sometimes these larger than life people get taken out in ways that are not, glorified. It's just, I have to do this for the greater good. And as Luton said, he has burned his decency. He has burned his life to make a sunrise that he'll never see, but people like Luke, Han, and Leia will get to see and live by. And you're like, it dawns on you, and you're like, God damn, this show is heavy.
This show was heavy. I'm like, dude, like, even with like side characters like that one childhood friend Mon Mothma has.
Yeah.
Again, the one that like sends money to the rebellion. He gets taken out off screen, but like if you're not paying attention, you're gonna miss it.
Yeah.
Like Luthen sends in what's her name?
Cynthia? Oh,
yeah. Cinta to assassinate him. But first time watching it, I didn't notice that that's what she was going to do.
Yeah.
I thought she was just gonna spy on him.
Yeah. And you're like, why did you're like, how come he has a new driver? And then you see her trail off and she has to look, and you're like, I don't think it's just for a drive. I think she's there to do dirty business for the rebellion.
Like, this man's gonna get Goodfellas, you know?
And like, I do love the fact that it also shows how like this rebellion is made of separate parts, like the Gorman front not being that well prepared. Even Andor's like, I don't think this is a promising thing. I think they're too amateur. I think they're too divided. And Luton's like, you have to give them some credit. They're arranging this even though Tarkin already massacred a shit ton of them in the past. And they still had the balls to be like, nah, fuck the Empire.
But like, I guess it's to like Andor's advantage because he called it right.
Yeah.
Like, it was a ploy. He smelled something fishy. and like he knew it was already a ploy that like, oh, the Empire. Well, he didn't know, but like the Empire pretty much played in like a damn fiddle.
Yeah, like they fell right into Dedra's trap. Even though it did come at the cost of Cyril somewhat gaining conscious, when he's like, I thought the Empire doesn't stoop low to genocide, but I was wrong, and he threatens to throw Dedra off the window. If you tell me this is classified, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
If you tell me it's a rumor,
Yeah,
I'll fucking kill you. Yeah, like there's like an entire battalion like in orbit.
Yeah.
What is that about? And yeah, it was messed up because we have this whole Les Miserables scene.
Yeah.
You gotta admit, it was.
Yeah. They started singing and I was like, to steal a classic Star Wars line, I was like, I have a bad feeling about this, dog. I don't like this.
Where's my Cockney French boy singing?
Right. And you see how the Empire works, where one sniper takes out a storm or like one of the troopers to make it look like it was one of the Gormans.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god. I already knew it was gonna happen. You're like, I'm gonna take fire. Sure, they made it look like he's aiming at the crowd.
Yeah.
But I already knew he was like, nah, he's gonna aim at his own people to make it look like they started like a riot.
Yeah,
and it was rough. It wasn't like flashy or anything.
Yeah.
It was slow. Or I don't know if it was slow to you, but like
it's just too realistic for Star Wars. I was like, am I watching Star Wars, man?
If you're in the moment, that shit feels like forever.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm just like looking around, you just see people just being shot or like disappearing. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Like taking inspiration from like modern, like our world. Like you see crowds being destroyed by police in some countries, and you're like, god damn. And you see how life reflects art, and art reflects life. And Andor, you're like, Jesus Christ, it's a bit uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable to watch because it's the Gormans being massacred. Like if I don't know if you've seen Rebels, but it's part of the rebellion lore that Gorman is the spark that ignites the rebellion. But for a while I was like, they might stand a chance, the Gorman front, and then they bring out the K2SO battalion, and you're like, Jesus Christ.
I was like, I didn't know that's what they were used for. Yes, I played Jedi Survivor. I just forgot that that's what they do.
Yeah, like how they take out the daughter of the head of the Gorman front. Like she's trying to escape and she gets tossed like across. You're like, holy fuck.
Like you just see someone just get like absolutely bodied by one of these things and like thrown at a wall. You're just like, oh my god, he's just a rag doll,
right?
And like, but I will say I have to give it to whoever directed this and the choreography. When Cyril and Andor just finally face to face for the first time in God knows how long, because this like took a span of years.
Yeah.
For their meetup to happen, to finally happen again.
Yeah.
Ever since Andor killed his partner. Did he kill his partner or like
he killed his
two random patrols?
Yeah. He had like his co-workers.
Yeah. They finally meet up and they just have this whole rumble. And I was just like, this is really good. For like this almost beats majority of lightsaber fights in Star Wars. Like this is a really good fight.
I mean, this is by director of the Bourne movies.
Yes, so I know. So just like, well, I'm surprised for the guy who directed the Bourne movies because they stopped with the whole shaky cam shit.
Yeah, but it's still like Bourne style where it's just a fucking fist fight that's fucking messy in the midst of a massacre, and like like you truly couldn't tell who was gonna come out on top if you didn't see Rogue One. But if you did see Rogue One, I was like, Andor cannot die in this episode. He cannot.
The thing is, I was like, I know he ain't dying, but what happens? You know, like a grenade that like falls into like right next to them.
Yeah.
And Cyril gets taken out. Andor's like discombobulated, but Cyril like gets up.
Yeah.
grabs his gun, and he's about to shoot him. And Andor's just like, "Who are you?"
Right.
And like, it just dawned on Cyril's like, I've been after this guy for so long. It got to a point that he doesn't even know who I am or why I'm chasing him.
Yeah. Even though
Is
Andor's trying to take out this girl, like he has no idea that Cyril has the biggest grudge in the galaxy, and he wants to kill him once and for all. And you're like,
And he gets taken out by that one guy, like
the dad.
the dad of like the rebellion of Gorman.
Yeah.
And I love that scene where he just takes Cyril to the side and just like, what kind of person are you for letting this happen?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, even in our own time, we kind of want to do it to one of our leaders to just be like, what kind of person are you
Yeah, right.
to just let that happen?
Like this might have been in the galaxy, galaxy far away, but it doesn't feel like a long time ago. It feels like a today ago, you know, this year ago.
When a lot of our own leaders let us down, we just kind of want to have that conversation with them.
Yeah, you're like, well, what kind of fucking leader are you?
Did you fuck it up?
Yeah.
For your own benefit.
And then that leads to one of the best speeches in Star Wars history with Mon Mothma talking about how what is said and what is known to be true, and like the gaps now are an abyss, a divide, a chasm, and like her speech about what truth is and how when it's ripped from our hands, when it's taken for us, we're just a victim to the appetite of whatever monster screams the loudest. Again, this doesn't feel like a Star Wars speech. Like she said a speech like this in Rebels, but it felt like, yeah, it's for Rebels. Here it feels like I think Tony Gilroy is making commentary on today's politics, and
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. And I'm just like, go ahead, because this is the most appropriate platform that you could think of right now.
Yeah.
Where a failing government is starting to get out of hand.
Yeah. I do love like how everybody's like panicking. The Empire is like, shut the building up, and she's like, the perpetrator, the man responsible, the monster is Emperor Papa. Close. They're like, oh thank God, we need to stay in control, but everybody knows what she was about to say anyway, so they're like, yeah, we know it's Palps, and we all know who to blame for. And I'm really glad that there's no unnecessary cameos in this show. Like the only big shot here is Krennic. Like there's no Tarkin, Vader, or Sidious, where you're like, even when she calls out Sidious, I was like, I wonder if in the next series we'll see like a hologram. Nothing. And you're like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Tony Gilroy, I like it.
That's what I love about the entire thing of like Andor, is that they detach the main story so much from Andor. Even though yes, it is the cog that starts the story.
Yeah.
It doesn't give us like snippets of like what it was, what the old movies had.
Yeah.
Like, oh, a little like Darth Maul pops up in the corner and like goes away. They don't do that shit. It's just full on. This is Andor's story. This is the story of the people on the ground, the no names that you see in the background.
Yeah.
This is their story. This is how the Empire affected their lives. It's not. You're not gonna see Luke here. You're not gonna see Leia. You're not gonna see or Chewie.
Yeah.
It's fully their story.
Yeah.
And Tony Gilroy did an amazing job where he's just like, I'm not gonna take that away from you.
Yeah. Though I did buy into the rumor that Clea might be Leia, because for a while I was like,
I also bought into it because I'm like, it's so Star Wars to be like, you need a code name, Leia.
Clea.
You know, it's just like,
and then
like, yeah, because it's same with Ben Kenobi.
And then you see her backstory. Her backstory began. I was like, yeah, that's not Leia. I was wrong.
Yeah, same here. I was like, but damn though,
Yeah.
I'm just like, how cool would it have been? Yes, I know. I said what I said a while ago, where they shouldn't take it away from the people who are on the ground. But I feel like Leia is very connected to those.
Yeah.
Because she's the leader.
Yeah.
And it would have been cool that, like, oh, how Leia started out her teens is just that she was mentored under Luthen.
Yeah. But I'm not mad that it's not Leia. I was like, I'm glad it's an original character that has her
Same
own name, own legacy. You
But
know?
I will say though, she really looks
Yeah.
like young Carrie Fisher.
Yeah. When she was fixing her hair, I was like, is this the reveal?
I was like, is she gonna put it in a bun?
Yeah.
And then she's gonna put like the
Yeah. I was really like
the cinnamon roll shit.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. I also love how that interrogation scene with Dedra and Krennic when he's like, well, guess what? Your security was hacked, and guess what he told Luke? And this is all your fault. Like, you're no longer in charge. We'll manage without you. And he's like, puts his finger, he's like, he'll log into your account. It's your fault.
I was like, I'll be terrified too.
Yeah.
And then she was like trying to help. She was like, oh, we can do this. And he grabs her by the face. He's like, you ain't gonna do anything. I was like, oh my god. And you can see how shaken up she is.
Yeah. And like,
Oh, lordy.
pretty sure she ends up in the same prison Andor was in season 1.
She does. She does. And oh my god. I don't know what it is, but that scene alone where we followed this character from season 1 all the way to season 2.
Yeah.
You see how far she would go
Yeah.
to just get revenge on Luthen. Like, she just wants to get Luthen, and like the sacrifices that she had to make for her to end up there and just like fall into her own hands and just like, oh my god, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah, it's not even back to square one. It's like you're now -1. Good job.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn. But I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad this actress has another iconic role besides being the voice of Yennefer from The Witcher 3 and the Witcher games. Like, she does such an amazing job. Like, the subtle acting she does, like at the end of the Gorman massacre when she's freaking out about Cyril, I was like, yeah, that's some good like expressions right there, and like her change in tone of voice, everything. I'm glad. I hope some way somehow she has a future in Star Wars, even though I'm sure the character has an end already.
I know, yeah, same here. Like, if that's her place in the universe, that's fine. It's just like, be a voice of a droid or something.
Yeah.
Or like a voice of like some mystical being
Yeah.
in Star Wars. I don't care. You are great,
Yeah.
and you're a wonderful addition to the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Even Cyril, like, I really like this character development here.
Yeah.
Even though, like, yes, as you said, with deaths here, it's sometimes just abrupt.
Yeah.
Not even glorified. It's just abrupt.
Yeah. And that was
And just like, yeah.
I suppose that was my fear for Biggs. I was like, I please don't get taken out by a lonely sniper or anything.
Yo, dude, for a lot of the whole time I was watching the show, I was like, yo, just leave Bix alone.
Right.
I love it that she got her comeuppance. Not her comeuppance. She gave the guy who tortured her his comeuppance.
Yeah.
Like, she pretty much just left him, like, just fully just tortured.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, they blow up the building.
Yeah. And like when she leaves, like him, like before the last 3 episodes, I was so afraid that Andor would get the report, like, hey, Bix did something and now she's dead. Anyway, moving on, and you're like, what?
I was very scared of that too.
Yeah.
But yeah. By the way, I don't know if you heard Bail Organa saying shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we're in the shit now. I was like, did he just?
Yeah. I like how Star Wars under Tony Gilroy, they curse, they do a lot of things. Were like, I thought Star Wars was, family friendly, squeaky clean, and then here people are like, shit, tear the shit apart, and you're like, all right, guess Andor's another league.
Yeah, I love that he was like, tear this shit apart. I was like, yeah, wait, can you say that?
Right. And it ends like. It does end like how Rogue One ends for A New Hope. Like, when you end Andor, you can just go to Rogue One. And you're like, don't go to the planet, man. I don't want you to go there.
Yeah, but as soon as the show ends, it's his mission when he goes to that guy he kills in
Rogue One.
that one informant he kills in Rogue One.
Yeah.
I was like, that's crazy. And we had the whole countdown for it, too. By the way, I am not skipping over the best fucking moment in this fucking show. K2SO soloing an entire group of, like, stormtroopers.
And again, it's like
the most terrifying shit you'd seen.
Then one guy is like, "Are you with us?" No, just smacks him across over the cliff. We're like, I guess that guy's gone.
Yeah, I love that. Alan Tudyk, I'm so happy you're back because K2SO is my favorite droid. Yeah. Sorry, I know you R2 lovers, you like love R2. Yes,
Chopper enjoyers.
Sure, R2 and Chopper have a higher kill count compared to K2SO, but it's just like this fucker talks. This dude is sassy. Yeah. You know, he's just like, "Are you with us?" Smacks him over the bridge. No. And I'm like, oh my god.
Like that one ISB officer, Dedra's friend, he uses the human shield against the other ISB guy.
The guy was just like, I don't know if you saw K2SO holding the dead body, but it was his eyes just beating. Like, oh my god, that's so scary.
Apparently, there was a scrapped episode of Andor season 2 where a bunch of rebels were taking another K2 unit to Yavin, and it wakes up, still programmed like how it was original program, and it's like an alien movie but with a K2 unit. We're like, we won't make it.
Very appropriate. Very. That they shouldn't scrap their idea. I say not for a K2 unit, but I say for like, what was the name of the assassin droid?
Assassin droid from
no.
Star Wars. Oh.
Yeah.
HK-47, the one.
Yeah. I would love to have like a horror movie, Star Wars movie like that.
Yeah.
It's just great. You see just K2SO coming up to this like one dude, and you just see him scream. And next thing you know, he's just like a fucking human shield. Just, Anyway, that shit was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get to save Clea.
Yeah.
And I love it that they gave us room to marinate on like what just happened. Luthen died. Everybody's mourning him.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a good amount of people who disagree with Luthen's methods.
Yeah.
And does not like him, but you have to admit he is a sole reason why Yavin was created.
Yeah, like not everybody agrees with Luthen's methods. The not squeaky clean, like getting your hands dirty methods. Same with Saw Gerrera. They don't agree with his fucking gas sniffing terrorist ways.
That was a weird part. I think that's the only out of place part where we got what's his name,
Wilman.
Yeah. Just like you know, like he's sniffing, he's huffing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No
spray paint or some shit like that.
No one saw it did that. I was like, that's why you're so fucking weird in Rogue One. That's why you're out of place there. But like
the man just doing whippets and just like
yeah. I do love that quote from Andor when they're debating whether to rescue Clea and like how important is Luthen, and Anders is like, I'm not gonna listen to people who've given half of what Luthen has sacrificed. I was like, goddamn right.
Yeah. Like that was great. Like him defending Luthen, even though yes, he even disagrees with him. He left Luthen for Yavin.
Yeah.
He even has to admit that, like, I saw the good and the bad, and he's worth saving.
Yeah, if they're being honest, like if it weren't for Luthen or people like Saw Gerrera, maybe this rebellion might not have taken off. Sure, their methods are not, again, squeaky clean, like honorable, but we have to start somewhere. We have to fight back some way, somehow, and those are the only methods available to us. Now we can be like, you know, an honorable rebellion. Like we don't kill who don't need to be killed. We can just pick up stormtroopers. But back then they were like, it's us against an entire galaxy. What the fuck do you want us to do?
Exactly. You know, I just love the entire interaction. You know, we're just like with like everybody just realizing that, holy shit, why did these three fuckers get a medal?
Right.
Like I remember somebody like having that that he had there was a reel in like TikTok.
Yeah.
It's just like this dude was like, just imagine how many people in this fucking room would be so fucking pissed off that these three nobodies came out of nowhere and got awarded.
Like,
when
Leia, I understand, because you're like, you are the head of the rebellion.
Yeah.
But fucking Luke and Han, like, Han didn't even want to be here, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. It was just weird for me.
Yeah.
And now that we see, like, how they got to that place, say what you will, yes, the team in Rogue One, the Rogue One team, got the plans there.
Yeah.
But then you get, like, little bits of story on, like, how they got to that part as well.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we gotta thank Luthen for that shit, too.
Yeah. Like, without Luthen, like, they wouldn't even know what the Death Star is, you know? Again, the last bit of him getting his hands dirty, like, the officer tells him, like, I need to look out for my wife and kids. And he's like, hey, your wife and kids will be fine if you're dead.
Just tell me what the plans are.
Yeah.
You know? And then it cuts away from Luthen, to Luthen, like, walking away. And goes back to the guy just, like, dead on a bench. I was like, dude!
Right?
But I get it. I get it. If he gets caught, he's gonna talk. And
Yeah.
like, yeah.
But yeah, a spectacular show. I do agree it's the best Star Wars property so far, and I'm sure it's gonna age well. Like, you say what you will about the sequels and like other Star Wars, Disney Star Wars properties, they're good in their own right, but Andor and Rogue One really stand out from the rest, in my opinion. Like,
Agreed.
it's like, not even, like, there are sometimes when I was watching season 2 or season 1 where I'm like, what galaxy is this again? What franchise am I watching? And for a while I was like, is this Blade Runner? No, it's Star Wars. Alright. And it shows how to make the Empire a credible threat, how you make the stakes of not just our planet's about to be blown up, but like how we're going to fight against this evil empire. And it shows how much impunity it runs with, how people avoid accountability, like the guy from Game of Thrones being like, I don't want to be accountable, bye world. And you're like, oh, yeah. Okay.
And I love that while he's like, he was listening to the recording that what's his name, Nemec.
Yeah, Nemec's
speech.
Yeah.
Or like his what do you call it,
manifesto.
His manifesto.
Yeah.
Where yes, a government like this will fall apart. You always have to keep it on, you have to always be on top of things when it comes to a government like this.
Yeah.
When you have a dictatorship,
Yeah.
it will fall apart eventually. And I was like, shit. So he's kind of just realizing that. Turns off the recording and was just like, give me a minute. Even the guy who came into the room was like, already knew. Alright. Stormtroopers like ready to burst in as soon as they heard a gunshot. And the guy was just like, shut up.
Yeah.
A moment of silence for this piece of shit.
Without further ado, what would you rate Andor Season 2?
Andor Season 2, it's an easy 10 out of 10. Best fucking thing that happened to Star Wars, in my opinion. I am so happy it came off of the whole Rogue One coattails.
Yeah.
Because, like, Rogue One was such a different experience when it came to the Star Wars property, when we had, yes, space wizards and, like, adventure, when
Yeah.
you want to know how the nitty-gritty happened. You don't want to know how the entire thing fell into place.
Yeah.
When it came to rebellion, to the Empire, you get amazing characters. I want, like, you know how like a show would have a weak plot, or like if they're tackling multiple storylines that will meet up one day.
Yeah.
There will be a weak link.
Yeah.
There was not a single weak link here, especially like from like stories from Bix to Dedra.
Yeah.
Like, you would expect, like, oh, I don't like this part of the show. No, you're engaged the entire way. Mon Mothma is one of my favorites when it came to like when it came to the whole space politics and everything like
Yeah.
that. Andor's still my favorite for being like the spy he is, the ruthless spy that he is. and like Luthen is a third for me. But they all did an amazing job just coming together and being like tying up this story with a nice bow as they send us off to Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got the right director for this one. Tony Gilroy, fucking amazing job. The little hints of emotion that you get from each character made it so real.
Yeah.
Because when you think of Star Wars, like my dad didn't even take the show seriously. I was taking the show so seriously, and then he found out that it's actually a Star Wars story. Because he was watching it for like 3 episodes, and then a random stormtrooper came up. He's like, "It's Star Wars pala ito." It's like, but he was so engaged. So, good job on Tony Gilroy for like, making us forget that this is a Star Wars IP. And I'm just like, and we are shifting towards a better universe compared to what we were getting before.
Yeah.
We have yet to do Skeleton Crew, and people said it was good. And you know why I hear people say it's good? Because I don't hear from anybody else. There's no hate.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's bullying the kids who are in it.
Yeah.
So we kind of have to give it a shot.
Yeah. You know what? I agree with you. 10 out of 10 for the season. 10 out of 10 for the entire show, actually. Like, the guts to be like, nope, season 2 is all you got. And it makes sense, because where else do you go after this? Like, you can tell the stories between 5 and 6 and 4 and 5, but it's not as... I don't know if it'll be as compelling as the Rebellions and its beginnings. And the fact that it just got Ben Mendelsohn to be in, like, a few scattered scenes, but still have, like, a presence of who the big guy is in the Empire, and to know that there's no unnecessary cameos, there's only name drops of like a few people, like Palpatine is one, Yularen is another. There's no mentions of Thrawn or Moff Gideon or Vader. Vader makes sense because Vader, you're not supposed to know about Vader anyway. But like, no, Cleia's not Leia. No hints of like, maybe let's go to Tatooine and see a sneak peek of Han Solo. There's nothing like that, and I appreciate them being on this trajectory of like, no, we're telling you the story of these people, of Andor, and this boots on the ground story, and of how the rebellion started. Like, we all knew of like whispers of like how the Gorman thing took place thanks to Rebels, but we never saw how horrible it was, and like how haunting that ending cry for help is when they're like, is anyone out there, help us please. Going to Mon Mothma's speech was, again, I don't remember even a movie where a speech is like that good. I was like, Jesus Christ, like, it's top 10 of like movies from the 2020s for me, or shows from the 2020s. But yeah, excellently paced, even though it is a slow burn at the beginning, both from season 1 and season 2. You just have to stick with it and enjoy the great dialogue and great characters, and it will eventually take off. I do agree that Luthen is one of like top 10 Star Wars characters. The same with Mon Mothma and Andor, and I'm glad people like them and Kleia, of course, have their own legacy, and it's still consistent even when they replace the actor for Bail Organa. It's not too jarring. I was like, you don't look like Jimmy Smith though. How come? And I was like,
why didn't they get him? Like, he was there for the Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I think I read that it's just scheduling, because he's like mainly a Broadway person, so I don't think it just couldn't agree. But for that episode, I was like, yeah, that's Bail Organa. And the second episode where he's like, yeah, tear the shit apart, I was like, that's not the same actor though. What the fuck?
Wait a minute. Yeah.
Everybody did their assignment here, the actors, the screenwriters, the director, and I really wish that in the future Tony Gilroy has other Star Wars projects, because he is excellent in writing this. And
I would love for him to make like a Stormtrooper movie or show. Or like the Commandos. Like, I would love that series.
Oh fuck, the Republic Commandos. Fuck yeah. If he wants to take on like how the New Order came about and make sense into that organization, sure. Or like go back in time with the Old Republic and see the beginnings, the falls of the Sith and Jedi, the beginnings of the Republic, or maybe the rise of Palpatine. Who knows?
Or like maybe a mini series on Bill Burr.
Fuck, shit, Jesus Christ, that's a amazing idea. Yeah, he's a sniper.
Him just doing heists.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I love that.
But yeah, the future of Star Wars looks bright since next year, I believe, there are two properties. One is The Mandalorian and Grogu, with, of course, Pedro Pascal and Sigourney Weaver in her first Star Wars movie ever. There's also a animated Darth Maul series by the people of Clone Wars, so I'm excited for that.
Yes.
But yeah, for now, Andor is definitely a high of Star Wars, and I can't recommend it enough. Like, even though there's no space wizards or sorcerers, it's still a damn good time. Heavy and dark at times, but still damn good.
Yeah, and I will say this to anyone who's trying to get into Star Wars: Andor is a great place to start.
Yeah.
It has zero connections to any of the movies. You don't need to know what's happening here, what's happening there to start Andor.
Yeah.
You just drop in, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've noticed from this show is that they never alienated you with like, oh, you have to know what happened in this movie to know what's happening in this show.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You could, like, if you want to start your Star Wars journey, you're starting it strong with Andor. Go nuts, because it's the most beginner friendly show out there, but
Yeah.
it is the darkest and heaviest one.
That's the catch 22, where like I can start here, at the same time you might end being like, god damn, what am I watching? Pretty good,
Yeah.
but shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw a meme of like, right, they show the characters after like going to Rogue One, and they like the meme shows like Andy Serkis's character, like a skeleton in the ocean. You're like, oh man.
I was looking at the cast for Andor season 2, and I saw Andy Serkis. I was just like, oh, he's back. No, he's not.
No.
He's not.
Oh yeah, probably the meme is probably true. We're like, oh man, yep, that seems right. Anyway.
Yeah, you can't swim. You know?
Yeah. Anyway, that's been our video for Andor season 2. What do you guys think? Who's your favorite character from the Andor series? Whether it's the main character, Mon Mothma, Bix, Dedra, Cyril, Luton, whoever it is, comment down below. If you like what you see here, please leave a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok to see our best and funniest moments. Spotify to hear us on the go. In the video, I'm Joe does voices on TikTok and ends Wolf on Letterboxd. Where can I find you?
Or you can find me at JomJuM_ on Instagram and Ismatica.
Yeah, and the next show we'll be talking about is about a video game series that never dies on this channel. Apparently, it will never ever die for a while.
But I feel like the cordyceps virus is on this fucking pod. Like the entire fucking review.
Oh yeah, that's
because
right.
it just keeps fucking coming back and keeps spreading.
Yeah.
And more of them are coming up.
But until The Last of Us Season 2, we'll see you then. Bye everybody.
Ciao.